Today's beer review is a big hitter. This is a beer with 6 different hops in. It is a Burnt Mill Brewery and it is called Cassiopeia, part of the Constellations Series. But with 6 different hops, can it taste really hop forward and great? Well, keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rucker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this beer. This is a New England IPA called Cassiopeia, or Cassiopeia. I think it's obviously got some sort of constellation sort of thing. It's a part of their Constellation Series, 6.4% from the Burnt Mill Brewery. I don't think I've ever had a beer from the Burnt Mill Brewery, but I really like the idea of this. Very sort of spacey, nice can artwork here. But the thing is with this beer, it's their Constellation Series. They rotate. It's called I'll read it out. I'll just read the bump out instead of paraphrasing it. Constellations is a rotating IPA series where we bring together some of our favourite hop varieties. For Cassiopeia, we've matched the 6 stars. So Cassiopeia obviously going to do 6 stars, hence the 6 hops. So the 6 different hops: Citra, Amarillo, Meridian, Strata, Sabro and Kohatu. There's a few in there. Kohatu, Meridian, not really sure if I've had those before. The other ones, yes, Citra, Amarillo definitely, or Strata, and obviously Sabro as well. But I'm not sure what Kohatu or Meridians are. But it says it creates an IPA giving a tropical melody of mango and passion fruit with subtle notes of vanilla and coconut. So let's crack this beer open, get it in a glass, and see what it's all about. You know, sometimes when you got 6 hops, they all sort of almost count each other out, cancel each other out. And obviously with something like, with a beer like this, which has got Sabro in it, you start thinking, well, is it just going to be overly dominated by that Sabro hop, which is is a very powerful sort of hop. So it'll be interesting to see if the other hops keep it in check. Well, it poured a little bit. Well, it's probably me that did the pouring pretty badly. Loads of carbonation. Look at the speed of that carbonation going up the side of the glass there. It's got a slight haze. It looks a bit lighter to me than it does in the camera, but it's got a slight haze on it. But even at the bottom with all that carbonation, you can see that the haze is, it's not as hazy and as thick as you'd probably expect. I mean, poured pretty badly, pretty compacted ice white head. I mean, I've got 4 fingers of head there. I don't think that's going to sort of stick around too long. Let's see what the aromas are like. Well, it's got a real sort of sweet, almost like jelly top sort of aroma. Yeah, there's a lot of head to get through to get to that aroma. Let's have another real sniff. Yeah, I'm getting a real fruit, jelly tops. It's getting a bit loud in here because I'm in my conservatory. It's pouring down rain. Smells pretty good. So, cheers everyone. The first thing that hits you is it's not as fruity and as New England-esque as you would expect. It's very light. It's got quite a soft mouthfeel, but it's like really light. And it's almost like the big hit is a big sort of early hit of sort of orange and passion fruit. It's a bit of mango in there. The Sabro hop is not over dominant. In fact, it's difficult to actually pick out the Sabro hop amongst all of those. As I said, you get a big hit of a sort of wave of passion fruit and orange up front. Then you're getting a little bit of, then you get quite a bit of pininess actually. Dry pininess. I'm getting a little bit of that coconut coming through now, but it's quite subtle. As I say, it's a very light drinking beer. Really, really soft. I mean, you see the head like that, and it is very soft. And the carbonation is still moving really quickly up there. And sometimes you find that you see all that carbonation, you think, oh god, it's going to be really fizzy. But the carbonation sort of moves up, sits between the beer and the hop, and that sort of softens the body. I don't know what sort of witchcraft that is that does that, but obviously some sort of, the technical people out there will understand that. But when you see a lot of carbonation, don't always think it's going to be fizzy. Just think, yeah, it's moving quickly, so it sort of almost dissipates very quickly as well. It's an interesting one to describe really, because it doesn't really taste like much that I've had. I'm not getting big hits of pineapple. There's a bit of grapefruit in there, but you've got 6 different hops. You'd expect them, they are all fighting against each other, but the thing that comes out to me, there's a real sort of grassy sort of pineness that sort of underlies the whole sort of flavour of the beer. I wouldn't call it a very traditional New England style. It's not a West Coast though, but it's not, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to have the body to be a New England. And it's got, the flavours are big passion fruit, orangey, mango. Again, you sometimes associate those more with the sort of the West Coast side. You're getting this real sort of dryness and this pininess in there as well, which again, not what you expect with necessarily with a New England IPA. What else are we getting? There is a subtle sort of sweetness, and it's like sort of coconut. I mean, I don't want to sort of let the can lead me to say this, but there is that sort of sweetness that is almost like vanilla. But I think that's more the coconutty sort of flavour that comes out with the Sabro hop. What are the other hops in here? So we've got, yeah, I mean, obviously, Citra, you know, we know what Citra is, a tropical sort of citrus fruit. Amarillo, again, that kind of that bring that grassy sort of element into it. Again, Meridian, I don't know much about, and the Kohatu, I don't know much about. Strata, yeah, that can give that sort of pininess, and that sort. And there is a sort of grapefruit undertone as well. But it's a strange one because it's almost like there's too much complexity with this beer for it to really sort of shine. Everything's fighting with each other in terms of its flavours, and you're sort of thinking, well, what am I actually drinking here? What am I getting from this? And you're getting a little bit of every sort of flavour that you've ever had in an IPA all in one can of beer, really. You're getting the big hits of the passion fruit and mango up front. You're not really getting much in the way of pineapple, which is surprising because, again, pineapple usually comes in with a Sabro. Then you get this sort of very dry, slightly on the edge of piney bitterness. Grapefruit, a little bit of pockets of coconut, but really, really small. You've got to really sort of almost, I mean, I am almost looking for them because I know it's got Sabro in it, and I think that's the case. If you know that you're expecting them, you think, yeah, I'm getting some sweetness there. That's the coconut from the Sabro. But I don't think, you know, normally, I don't think, unless you're looking for it, it's very, in terms of Sabro, very, very subtle in terms of it's lost a little bit in the mix of all the other flavours in here. And then there's this just element of grassiness, this sort of pininess, grapefruit, citrus fruits. And you're left with a very dry taste on the sort of taste buds. And that makes you want to go in again, really. And as I say, it's quite light. It's soft, but very, very light. So you could sort of neck it really quickly and think, oh, I've drank that quite quickly. And it's 6.4%, so it's not a slow ABV by any means. Yeah, it's an interesting beer. I mean, for me, there's just too much going on with it. Maybe if I drank this one and then sat and had another one of exactly the same. But for me, there's a big hit of passion fruit, orangey sort of flavours. Then you're getting grapefruit. Then you're getting grassiness. Then you're getting pininess. Then you're getting these little pockets of sort of sweetness, which is almost the coconut flavour. Then you get a bit more grapefruit. And then you're getting this sort of really dry. I mean, it has that sort of dryness of sort of like a German Pilsner. That sort of really sort of coats or really dries out the throat and makes you sort of think, God, I'm really thirsty. Well, there's a beer here, I'll drink this then. And now that's the thing that dehydrates you really quickly. So I don't know if that's the other hops that does that. But it's a strange one. But it's a pleasant beer. I'm going to have to really think about how I'm going to score this one. But let's get those scores. Okay, the scores are in for Cassiopeia, which is from the Burnt Mill Brewery. It's part of their Constellations Series, 6.4% New England IPA. But this has got 6 different hops. that represents the 6 different stars in this constellation. And the 6 hops are Citra, Amarillo, Meridian, Strata, Sabro and Kohatu. There's a lot of mixture in there, and they almost all fight to gain their sort of like, you know, their supremacy in terms of the beer, and nothing really comes up on top. So let's go through the scores. So first things first, aroma. Well, it's got this sort of jelly top sort of aroma. There's a grassy element. There's definitely the mango and the passion fruit that's sort of coming through, which is the big fruits that you get on the front end of it anyway. And that's a bit it. There's, as you say, it doesn't smell like a real fruit bomb. It's got this sort of these fruit flavours, but there's also a lot of grassy pininess sort of trying to combat in there as well. So I'm giving it 12 for aroma. Appearance. Well, when I poured it, it was a massive head, loads of carbonation. The head's gone down. You can see the lacing of the glass. It's quite light actually. It looks a bit darker in the camera than it does to me here, but it's quite light. It's got haze to it, but it's not really thick, and it's light to drink. It's not bad though. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, flavour-wise. Well, there's lots of going on with the 6 different hops. So you're getting this big hit of passion fruit and orange, you got grapefruits, you got this pininess, you got this bitterness, you got this grassiness. Then you get these pockets of little sweetness, which is the sort of coconut flavour. And that's sort of it. But this is quite, I'm surprised it's not double dry hop, because it's very, very dry on the back end, you know, and it makes you want to drink it, and you drink it quite quickly. It has got a soft mouthfeel, but it's a very, very light beer. It feels very light and very sort of thin, which is unexpected really all the way there with those 6 different hops. But nothing really jumps out. And it's almost like, as I said it in the main review, that it's like you're tasting everything you've ever tasted in an IPA all in one beer. So there's elements of West Coast, but it's not West Coast. There's elements of New England, but it's not as purely New England as a lot of beers. There's just a lot going in. The only thing that's missing from it is I'm not getting huge amounts of. I'm not getting limes. I'm not getting those sort of New Zealand Southern Hemisphere sort of hot flavours, the grapes, the melons, the gooseberries, those. And I'm not getting much pineapple in there as well. But everything else, grapefruit, passion fruit, mango, maybe a bit of lychee in there, papaya in there as well. Oranges, very sweet sort of oranges, grapefruit, pink grapefruit, everything's in there. It's all thrown into one beer, and hopefully so you expect something to come out that's good. And it's not bad, but it's missing a real identity. So I'm going to get 32 for flavour. Value for money, £5.50 can of beer. It's not the cheapest, but there's 6 different hops in this, so you know it's a well-crafted beer. So I'm giving it 8 out of 10. Overall experience, well, I have nearly drank it. It's very easy drinking, but it's also this sort of grassy, piney dryness on the back end. Just makes you want to drink it quicker, because you have a sip and then you think, oh, that's really dehydrated and really dried out my throat. And so you grab for it again and drink it again. So you drink it really quickly. I think the problem I've got in terms of the overall experience is it's a good beer, but it's trying to do too much all at once. And I think it spoils it a little bit, because you think, oh, I just wonder what these other hops are. I wonder what Kohatu and what Meridian bring to it, because I don't know. I don't use that. We don't have those hops very often. They're not very commonly used ones. And you think, what they bring into it, and I'm not sure really. It's difficult to really sort of pick out. Sabro's a little bit lost. Yeah, there's a lot of Strata and Amarillo I think are used more, and Citra's probably used more. So it's interesting to see how much of each of the type of hops are used in this. It's not a bad tasting beer, certainly not horrible. It's got that sort of softness to it that's good. It's easy drinking, but it's a little bit too grassy, I think, for me. So I'm giving it 13 for overall experience. Tighten those scores up, 73. It's a recommended beer. It's worth trying. I mean, I saw it and I thought, I've got to try that. It's got 6 different hops in it. There's a few I've never heard of, so I've got to try this. It's not bad at all. I don't know if they do other series. They've obviously, part of their Constellations Series, they've probably got other ones with 6 or more hops in those as well. It's worth giving it a try. So if you see this one, let me know. And you've had it before, or if you've had it before, let me know what you think. What do you think about beers which have got lots of hops in. I mean, I've seen some beers that got 4, 5, 6 different hops in. You think, is that too much? You see other beers that are like, we just got Citra in it. And sometimes, you know, it's more concentrated in terms of the flavour that you get. And when you mix everything, you lose all those individual characteristics, I think. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about massive, multiple different hops used in the same beer, and any good examples of that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. And until the next one, keep on rocking.